What's up everyone, I'm Drew, and today I'm going to give you a full overview walkthrough of Atlas and how to integrate this in your current project workflow. Feel free to jump ahead at different chapter divisions as you see fit, but let's get into it. All right, once you've made it through the profile section, you're going to be rerouted to the main dashboard, which is where I'm at right here. As you can see, I've got the Atlas logo at the top header. If you've uploaded your own custom branding, that's going to show up right here. Then below that are these film tools, which we'll get into in a second. And then below that are the active projects card, tasks due, and next scheduled. Now you can customize your dashboard to get a little bit broader view of your entire account by clicking the edit dashboard button, adding recent projects, some of these cards here. And then if I save that layout, you can see more cards populate, just giving a little bit more information and quick access across your account. Now, if you see over here in the main sidebar navigation, you can see these everyday productivity tools like to-do, notes, boards, calendar. And then of course you can collaborate with your team, you can chat with them, you can manage your clients, create proposals, and then of course projects, which is really the hub or the bread and butter of Atlas and how it works. But first, let's go to the to-do page and check this out. So if you click on to-do, I've got a list here. Let's say we've got a new list for next week. We can create that, select a color to customize that, and then add a task, add a due date, select a priority level. Let's just say medium, enter that. You can also rearrange your lists by dragging and reordering. You can also drag to reorder your individual tasks if you want one task to another list. So it's a very straightforward and intuitive way of organizing your tasks. All right, next, let's move on to the notes tool. From here, as you can see, I've got these notes cards. So if I added a new note with the plus button there, just typed in new note, I've got these tools here for rich text editing. Let's go ahead and click done. I've got an example here of just a film idea called The Silent Current. And you can kind of see how that's laid out. If I clicked on these expansion arrows, it'll expand the view of the note. Let me click done. Another easy idea is to organize your notes with folders, which I know as creative professionals, you're really trying to keep all your references, all your ideas together. And this notes tool is a great way to do that on a day-to-day basis. Let's go down to boards. In the boards page, you're going to see two different types of boards, freeform and Kanban. So when you click add board, it will create a board within that sort of style. So freeform board is basically just a canvas. So if I click here, I've got a film that I'm working on called Echoes. And as you can see, it's just a free form canvas where I've got the log line, budget, production, film grants and funding, locations, distribution, a couple images for reference. And as you'll notice here, this column is called decks. And decks is just a way to organize multiple canvases within one board. So instead of having multiple boards for one idea, you have multiple decks within one board. So if I click on locations, that will just give you an idea of some locations that I've got going. Mood and tone, I've got some cards here, character reference for the film that I'm building out, but this has to do with the entire project as a whole. And it's pretty simple to use. If you go up here, you can drag and drop onto the canvas some of these cards like a note, title, to do, a color card, and then organize them how you see fit on the canvas. So you can multi-select, drag and reorder those across the canvas, and then your canvas will automatically grow as you add more cards. Also click the three-dot menu here and go down to save as template. So you can save a deck or you can save a board as a template. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you come to maybe a short film or a commercial doc or something similar. So that is the canvas style freeform board. But then if we jump over to the Kanban board, let's say we've got this glacier glass. This is a project that we're working on, a commercial brand. And instead of having a freeform canvas, we've got them organized in columns. So I've got inspiration here, scenes, schedule, locations, and you can simply add a column, name it crew, add a new color to it. Let's make it purple, add a card, notes, to do, maybe a link, and then you can edit those, building out your project. I've got a couple pasted maps in here, references, so you can add images. It's very intuitive, organizing from a visual creative perspective. So I feel like that wraps it up. So if I jump on down here on the main sidebar nav to team, you can invite team members by simply clicking invite team, add their email address. You can click which projects you'd like to assign them to, or you can include them in future projects. So you don't have to do it every time if you have someone constantly or consistently working on your team. The permission level for a team member allows them to basically do anything within a project except for delete it. So if you click manage here, you can manage your team members' projects, which ones they have access to and which ones they don't, by selecting or unselecting them. Then if we jump over to the chat page here, I can create a channel. Let's call it, for a project that we're going to be working on, called Ridgeline. You can select an emoji to go along with that. So once I've created that channel, I can invite team members that are already added to my account. Select a team member, add them to the account, and then immediately I can start messaging. Hey man, great work on the VFX shot. Let's move on to the next stage. So that will show up right in their chat account. But let's say if you wanted to access that not on the main chat page, you'll find that there is this little chat button in the bottom right corner of nearly every page that if you click chat, you're going to see that message pop up there. So it's just a smaller and easier way to access and communicate with your team. So if I click on projects, this is the main projects page. And as you see here, I've got a couple projects with their status. One is active, the other is completed. And I've got total projects as 2, active projects, upcoming schedule, and next deadline. These cards just help kind of keep you in line and give you a 10,000 foot view of all the projects that you're working on. Then if you scroll down to the detailed view, you can see it in more of a kind of spreadsheet format with some of these drop-down selections. And you can also hit this plus icon and add a custom column to your project just to help you manage what's the budget, the deadline, just to give you a broader view of your projects at one scale. So let's go ahead and click new project at the top here. And let's say that brand we were working on, Glacier Glass, a sunglass company for outdoors enthusiasts. We'll type in the name, maybe a project summary. We can click the category. Let's say it is a commercial. You can also add a custom category if you like, and then further customize it by adding an icon to represent what it is. Let's use this sun, and we'll add a blue color here. We'll click next. Let's add a project deadline. Let's go September 25th. You can add stage deadlines for pre-production. Let's say September 2nd, production the 10th, and post-production 23rd. So once I click next, I've got some of my staged and project deadlines done. I click next. Then you'll see these film tools populate here. Now you can select all, or you can individually select which film tools that are appropriate or that you feel like you'll be working on within the project. So whether that's ideation, scripts, Moodboard, budget, we need call sheets, crew, talent, etc. You can go through and click each of those. Let's just say we clicked all of them and create project. So once you click create project, you'll be routed to the project dashboard. And from here, you'll see a couple cards to sort of summarize some of the things within the project, whether that's our timeline, stage deadlines. You'll see one that's associated for tasks, project progress, and a plan and organize card down here. And then at the top, we've got what's called the production timeline. And you'll see it's sorted out from different stages of production. From pre-production here, we have all the film tools that are associated with that stage. And then we go to production. You'll see all the tools here that are associated up until post-production, and then on to final delivery. Now you can scroll through this or click the arrows to navigate this production timeline. And when you click on one of these tools, it'll open up and it will be associated with that specific project. Now, before we get into some of those tools, let me just go back to the project dashboard just to give you an overview of this. right here in the project progress, sometimes it's really good to know where you are in the process from pre-production all the way to delivery. So right here we have a progress that if you simply click off some of these tools that you've already completed, you'll see the pre-production fill bar here being completed. So if I went down to production and let's say we've confirmed some of our crew, we've got our talent, we've got our gear packing list, we've got our props, you'll see that progress bar also populate as we check some of those off. Now, I think it's good if I show you actually a project built out, and then I'll show you what each of these film tools do and a little bit more of the project dashboard. So I'm going to navigate back to the projects page, click on Ridgeline brand, and I've got this one a little bit more built out. So you see here, it looks very similar to the other project. And I've got these tools up here. I'm going to go ahead and click on Ideation. So if you were to start a project, you're going to probably want to start thinking through some ideas. If you're working with a team or by yourself, or you're doing a discovery call with a client, sometimes it's great to just lay out all the ideas and write those out. So that's what this tool is for. You can simply click to add. I've got some text here for this project. Let's say if we deleted the creative development, maybe the distribution, just going to show you how easy it is to click to add. That's going to add to the bottom. And then instead of being overwhelmed by all these things you have to fill out, you can click on whatever category feels relevant to the project. So whether that's creative direction, visual style, and then fill those out as you want. If you'd like to present this to a client or just internally, you can click present to get a bird's eye view of what the project ideation summary is. You can scroll through that, export that as a PDF. And so that's just a quick tool to sort of get the ideas out on paper. Very intuitive to use. Next, we have scripts. So if you click on scripts, I've got the brand anthem script right here for the Ridgeline commercial. And you'll see it's similar to like a Google Doc with our rich text editor. You can change the mode by switching from dark mode to light mode, depending on your preference. But this is just a simple doc editor. If I go back and you say, well, what about screenplay, industry standard screenplay format? Currently, we don't have that, but you can upload a script as a PDF and then reference that as you like. If I jump over to Moodboard, that's simply a free-form board to organize all the ideas that you have for this specific project. See, I've got a couple things down here for color tone, the pacing. I've got a document, a couple links, images, color cards for reference. So you have a board that lives inside that project, and we just call it Moodboard. And then if you jump over to budget, budgets are really important, obviously, to keep track of. Really one of the most important things as a filmmaker. You don't want to go over budget. So we've created a budget tool that you could simply edit. Let's say whatever the budget is, let's say it's $25,000. You can edit that. And then as you add items, let's say we added a light stand here and it was $85 fixed price. We added the category, equipment, we add that. And you see it'll populate right here with the tagging, whether it's paid, you can change the status with the category. If you hit the view more icon, you could add some more details, upload a receipt link, change the rate per hour, per day, etc. So it's a pretty robust budget tool that you can use for your filmmaking project. And then, of course, you can see how the details will change. We've spent $85, and then the remaining budget shows right there. And then we also have an auto sync feature. I will show you how that works in a minute as we build out some more of these tools. So if you jump over to scenes, scenes is, basically like the heart and soul of any film. Even if it's a small project, usually have a scene. The scene represents characters and locations and shot lists and storyboard and all of that. So this is like the central hub of where you organize a lot of other tools. So I've got 5 scenes here, and you can see some of those details. It's an interior scene shot at night. It's 3 pages, 55 minutes long, estimated duration there. You can change the view from list to grid to get a different look. Click the view more icon, and you can also see what talent and locations are assigned to that scene. So let's go ahead and add a scene here. As you see, it auto-populates a number in sequential order. If we added a new scene title, Cabin in the Woods, and it was an interior shot, midday. We can go to the locations tab, add a location that we want. We can go to the talent, and let's say we want hiker 1 and hiker 2 for this. We can go ahead and add that scene. And as you see, it populates right there. Now, what's really nice is Atlas has a way of cross-synchronizing everything. So whether it's locations, cast, crew, scenes, everything is fully integrated. So you'll see that as we look at other tools. So for example, if you go to the talent tool, you can see all the talent that I have listed here, and you can see their rates, other information. If we click on view more, their phone number, email, and then you can assign different roles to them. As you see, this Andrew Owens is a voiceover. We've got Marcus, hiker, Olivia is hiker 2, Jake is an extra, and Emma is an extra. Now you can manage those roles. Let's say you're building out an entire feature film with multiple roles. You can add those, add a color to it, and then assign those roles to those characters. You can also add their rates, which is really helpful, because then we can synchronize that with our budget down the road. So adding their rate, whether it's daily, hourly, a fixed rate per project, you can edit that and change that rate within the edit talent modal. Now, if we jump over to crew, the same is true with crew. You are adding and assigning different roles, but this is obviously more in the behind the scenes aspect. So we've got a director here, producer, our DP, sound mixer, gaffer, already lined out with some of their rates as well. So if I click to edit one of those, you'll see their name, the department they're assigned to, their assigned roles, and then their rate. And you can change that from daily to hourly or fixed price and adjust that. Now, let's say if we jumped over to locations, I've got a handful of locations here. You can assign them to multiple scenes as well. So let's say assign the Joshua Tree National Park to scene 6. You can assign multiple scenes to one location. Let's add a couple here. And then of course, if we wanted to add a location, you're just entering the information. You could add images for reference if you like, adding the map. Let's see if that populates here. If I go to view more, and you can see that address populate right here. I can drag and drop images for reference. It's a great way to organize all of your locations. So if we jump back over to budget and we wanted to take all our locations, crew, talent, and add them to our budget, we can click on auto sync, and I've got these toggled on. I've even got props toggled on as well. And I'm gonna keep that at create and update and click sync now. And when I do, those are gonna add all those budget items categorized within my budget tool for this project. If I scroll down, you can see all of those rates show up. Let me close this. And then you can see up here the summary cards update as well. So our budget's still total at $25,000, but now we've spent $8,900. So it's a really nice way, instead of having to repeat yourself and add it manually, you can click auto sync and it will populate within your budget tool. So let's jump over to shot list here. As you see, I've got all my scenes on this left side, and then my shots will show up here as I add them. So I've got a few shots within scene 1 here for Dawn Ascent. I've got 4 shots, and to add a shot, you can either add a shot right from the modal, and this is a more descriptive view of adding a shot where you can add a lot more details, upload images, or if you're like me and you're just kind of maybe run and gun and you want a quick shot list, you can add those right here by saying tracking, shot, side profile, wide, something like that. And then you can add details later, or as you're on set, you could just simply check these off as you complete them. Now, what's really nice is if you like to build out a storyboard, but maybe you're not someone who likes to draw, but you like image references. So we've cross-synchronized our shot list with our storyboard. So if we go over to storyboard here, when that opens up, you're gonna see I've already started a bit. I've got a couple images for each shot. So we had 5 shots here, and you'll see wide shot in hallway of cabin, hiker is packing. So this is just a reference image. I can click draw mode here and maybe say the camera's dollying in this way. Wide shot in hallway of cabin. Let's go to Image number 2, it's a close-up of backpack stuffing gear inside. Here's the image for that. For image 3, it's a medium handheld tracking action, loading up a tailgate. Let's add an image for that. So I've added that shot. Let's go to number 4, wide of Jeep. Number 4. All right, so I've added a wide of a Jeep takes off from the cabin. So maybe if the Jeep was right in this area and we've got a low angle, but instead we want to reverse this and kind of shoot from above. Maybe we can add some more details there, but I've got a little bit of a storyboard worked out here, and you can see I can begin adding all my images or drawing an image within each of these scenes. I can toggle a view from grid to list, but let's go ahead and go back to shot list because I think this is really great. Once you've added to the storyboard, you can go back to shot list and then click on those shots that we were working on, and then you can check them out right here. We've got the visual, the image within shot number 1, and then shot number 2, we've got that image as well. So it's really great when you're on set. You can check these off, you can organize them, drag to reorder, but then you can also hit the view more icon and see the image that's associated with it as a reference. So it's a really quick way of doing it instead of jumping over to, hey, let me show a photo on my phone. It's all nice and tidy, right, integrated together from the storyboard to the shot list. If we jumped over to props, I know we're kind of jumping around a bit, but it also has the same layout. So I've got a couple props here. Let's go to scene 3. It's a desert sunset camp. And I've added a few props that we need, some camp food, stovetop, lighter, firewood. And it's the same layout, but you can add more details. So for instance, if I went to Dawn Ascent here and I clicked on the camping tent, I can click edit and I can paste a reference link of the prop that we need to order, the cost of it here. So it's all the details. If you only want to just add simple, hey, just pick up a lighter, add maybe a price real quick or upload the receipt, you can do that. But you can add details to be more specific with each individual prop as you like. Another tool that we have is the gear tool. If you click on that, I've got a gear packing list that I've created called Day 1 Gear. So if I click on that, you're going to see some of the gear that I need to pack for day 1. If I click Show Gear, you're going to see some of the gear inventory that I have. So if I wanted to add another lens, another lighting package here, some modifiers, I can click to add and it will populate in this list right here. And whoever's in charge of getting this gear, whether it's myself or part of my team, they can check this gear list off as they pack it. You can organize your gear by day or by event or by a shoot. And you can also manage your inventory. So we have some preset gear already in here so you can play around with it. But when you get the time, you can add your own gear and then modify that based off of your own gear inventory. And then let's jump over to schedule. If I click on the schedule button, this, unlike calendar, is more about scheduling schedule blocks. So if you added scenes or locations, talent, crew, all of that is organized within a schedule block. So again, I've got day 1 recorded here. And if I click to edit that, I'm going to show you what that looks like. I've got the schedule, the date, the start, end time, call time, wrap time. And if I go to locations, I've got a couple locations already selected. I can add another one there. And then within scenes, I've got a couple scenes already selected. Let's say if we added another scene, you can add more details, but let's update this schedule. Click the View More button, and then we can see an overview of what that schedule block looks like. So this is day 1, but you can make multiple schedules within one day if you want. Now, what's nice, when I click the View More, you can see the locations, the wrap time, the call time, and then all of my scenes that are organized. And I can actually drag to reorder those so that we can shoot in order of these scenes. And we know that it doesn't go from scene 1, 2, 3 all the way to the end. So let's say we're shooting scene 6 first, then scene 2, then we want to go to scene 1 and scene 3. You can also click View More and see more details within that scene. Let's click View More on scene 2. You can see the description, the locations, the talent that are needed for that particular scene. So it's all nicely organized within that schedule block. And you can build that out to build multiple days of a shoot or multiple schedule blocks within one day. So what about call sheets? Like, let's say you did all this work with your cast and crew and talent and your schedule blocks. Now do you have to manually create a call sheet? Navigate to call sheets and then click the button import from schedule. You could create a new one, but if we're gonna import from a schedule, save us some time. Click day one, it's gonna create that call sheet, and all you have to do is enter a few bits of information like the call times themselves, but the shooting schedule already populates your scenes in order, your talent call times, your locations, and then of course you're gonna have to add some of your crew to that. So if we added some crew members, maybe we wanted the clients on set that day, so we're gonna add that. And then we can add those call times right there, fill out a few details, and your call sheet is basically built out. So if you wanted to add the meal times, parking information, you can do so by clicking, adding, and then adding that information right here. When you're ready and finished with your call sheet, you can click to send call sheet out. So if I click that, you're going to see all the people that we're sending it to with their emails. Then you can click send call sheet, and that will create that call sheet. They're going to get an email where if they click, they can confirm their attendance there. And then if you go back to call sheets and go to the recipient status, if you click that, you're going to see all the updates on the recipients and whether or not they have viewed, approved, and you can send them reminders right from the call sheet tool on that specific call sheet. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like, I'm going to copy the share link, and the call sheet looks a little something like this. Day one shooting, our general call time here. We've got the shooting schedule, and all of this is laid out just like that. Another thing that I forgot to mention about the project dashboard is that each project gets their own tasks and their own plan and organize card. So for instance, if you had specific tasks that were only specific to that project, you can add those tasks right here. So they're not personal tasks. These are tasks that have to do with this specific project, which works great if you're collaborating with a team member. You can add those tasks, assign them to a team member, add a due date, and of course, priority. So down below here, you can organize image references, links. I've got some here for the vibes, the mood, the intro segment, files. I've got the script. I've got an audio file here that you can upload audio files for reference. You can add specific notes that only have to do with this project. Now, if you say, I don't really like it down there, you can customize the dashboard by basically just making the plan and organize right next to the tasks so that you can see it a little bit easier. So then let's go to the post-production tools. We have 6 post-production tools here and a way to upload documents. Let's say it's a W-9 form or contracts or permits. You can upload those right there. But let's say, for instance, if we click on First Cut, if you like to organize your post-production in stages, this is made for you. If you like to just do it all at one go, if it's a smaller project, you could maybe just use the First Cut tool. But you'll notice here that you have a few different cards, one for tasks, plan and organize, and review files. And I've uploaded a few demo files for our example here. I've got tasks that are associated with this stage of post-production, which is the first cut. We've got to edit the B-roll, sync the audio with the interviews, maybe cut down the interviews to 3 minutes. So those are all stage-related tasks. And then if I wanted to, I can upload certain reference images or links or files. For instance, I have a link here for the type of pacing that I want for my first cut, some files for music, audio, and then some notes. And like, here's our checklist for our first cut edit with this specific project. And then what's really nice is your editor or your team can upload the files for review, whether it's music or VFX, or just a video file, they can upload that here. So if I go ahead and click on that, you'll see the video populate here. So what's nice is I can leave feedback with time-stamped comments. So I can add a comment saying, let's look for a wider shot here. Now, when they see that comment, they can also leave a comment based off their user profile. And when they complete those edits, they can just check those off like that. And it will also change the status with that specific file. So the post-production stages are really nice to have. You can also, when you complete some of these tasks, it will update the progress as well, or you can mark complete once you get that stage done, and then move on to the next stage of post-production all the way to final delivery, which then moves us to our next tool, which I really love this feature within Atlas. And that is, if you navigate to this studio button, you can click that. I've already got some video files here as well as stills. So when you complete a project, you would upload your final deliverables right here, whether it's video. Sometimes you're uploading some stills to send to a client from maybe some behind the scenes or frame grabs that you have. What you can do is you can share these individual files, or you can create a presentation by clicking that button there and then adding some of these to the preview window. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's say we add a couple of these and some of the vertical videos. Now you'll notice the vertical videos don't show up vertically, but if you change the aspect ratio to native, then you'll notice these stay 16:9, and then these stay on that vertical aspect ratio. And let's say we wanted to add some images here. Let's go back up here, click select all. And now you can see it's nicely laid out. So let's do some more styling with this. Let's, if we wanted to increase our column count, let's keep it at 3, but increase the spacing a bit, decrease the border radius. And then maybe we wanted to remove some of that info on the cards. So I can click that. I can make it on hover so that the play button shows on hover. I'm just going to keep it as static right there. We can change some of the styling, add a description or add a title. We're going to call this Masa Seed Farm because this is the actual project right here is the Masa Seed Farm. We're going to change some of the colors. Let's maybe change the primary color to like a yellow here, right like that. And then you can also add your branding. You can change the font type. Let's change this to this sort of monospace font here. And when you're ready to go, you can share that with a client. By clicking the share button, it'll generate a link and it will load the showcase. So right here is exactly what a client would see if you were to share a showcase with them. So what you could do is the client could click on a video and they could play and watch it back. If they want to approve it, they can simply just click approve there and it will change the status on your end. They can also review the video by clicking review, and it's the same video review file as the post-production tools. So you can add comments here and make that adjustment. So that about wraps it up with the Studio tool. I think it's a great addition. If you spend so much time with all your final deliverables, sending that to a client without a Dropbox link or a Google Drive link, but having a nice polished presentation that you can also add your branding to is just an extra touch. So now that we know how to create a project, if we navigate over to the calendar item on the sidebar nav there, you're going to open up the calendar and you're going to see your project deadlines and your stage deadlines based off event type here. And now you can customize this, change the name, change the color, but you can also drag and move this over and it will populate or change the date for that schedule if you were to go back to the schedule tool. So if you wanted to change the deadlines for that specific project, you could do so. If you want to create an event, you can click that button there, add an event. If you want to add a video call, you can do so, pasting a link, click on Google Meet or Zoom, paste that link there. You can add a guest by entering their email, sending that off to them. If you've added your email branding, you'll actually, the recipient will see your logo and your color when you send that off to them. But of course you can, if I go back here to create, you can change the event type here and customize those, as I've said before. But the calendar is a handy tool to have. And again, you can move and drag different events, and that will update those project stage deadlines across your account. If we go back to the dashboard and then navigate to clients here, you can manage all the clients that you have within your account. So I've got a few here from the Ridgeline project that we were working on, Briargate, Geotech, and these are just a couple examples to show you what you can do to manage a client. So if I click Add Client, you can enter their information from their name, email, phone number, the client status, which is nice. Sometimes you get a lead, so you can add a lead client instead of someone who's active, especially if they're going through a proposal or signing a contract. You can change the lead source, add their information, and create that client. Another nice feature is the ability to assign clients to different projects. So you can assign them to just one project or multiple projects. You can update that and you can see how many projects have been assigned to that client. And then of course you have the summary cards up here. I think it's really great to see your revenue and see that grow with the filters that you have, whether it's month over month or the last 12 months, what you've seen with your company's revenue. And then the average value per client is just a great metric to kind of gauge how you're doing with the cost per client. So to add revenue for your client, you'll click the View More and you can manage that revenue. And so let's say we were maybe doing a podcast for this client here, and we added $500. Let's say the date, we're going to say it was a couple months ago or last month. We'll do that, and we'll add recurring revenue, and it's a weekly podcast. We'll add that revenue, and you'll see that populate there. Click Done. And we've already made $3,500 from that. And you'll see our revenue go up and the average value per client. Now, if you wanted to delete that or manage that or add new revenue, because we were working on a project with this client, you can add that and manage the revenue per client, which is really nice. Now, another nice way of viewing your client details is through the list view. And again, it's just like projects with some of these custom drop-down buttons. You can add more columns here, and just to give you more of a 10,000 foot view and kind of like a spreadsheet view of your clients. So that pretty much covers how the clients page works. But let's say you get a new lead or a new interest, and now they're requesting a proposal. So if you go over to the proposals page, and I've got a proposal kind of in the works here for the Ridgeline backpacks. Let me click on that. When you open it up, you're going to see on the left side is sections. Now these represent all the different sections that we can either add to build our proposal. And if you don't want any of these, you can simply delete those. We're going to keep them for now. I've got the proposal title. It's presented by me, the date. We can add a recipient. You can add your demo reel as well. You can include your company's branding or theirs, just to add a nice little touch as you send this out to the client. We've got a sample overview. And then the way we've designed the proposal builder is for you to simply click to add things. Instead of manually entering stuff, we want to make it as simple as possible. So if there's a few goals that you'd like to add for increase brand awareness, generate leads and conversion, maybe increase social media engagement, for each of these sections, you can also add your own custom version. Let's say the style and tone, professional, minimalist, and let's do inspirational but authentic. And we've got a few visual references here. You can add a reference link for previous work that you've done within your proposal, and then you can distinguish what your target audience is. Let's say a couple of these, and let's add some services. So you can add and build your proposal based off your services or deliverables or both. So let's say we add a video shoot. We've got editing involved with that. We've got social media videos. We're going to keep this by the default 5, frequency once. So you can change the frequency to be weekly as a recurring occurrence. Let's say a brand story video as well as a testimonial video. We're going to have 3 testimonies, 1 brand story. And then if you scroll down to budget, you can add those line items. So let's say our video shoot, we're putting in here for $5,000 and our editing is $6,000. Our social media videos, maybe $3,000. Brand story video, $2,500, and testimony videos, $6,000. Now we can have those as line items, or we can create packages. So I've got a couple laid out here, a basic, premium, and platinum package. And then you can click to add. So we've got the video shoot, the editing in the first package, and we've got a few more in the second. Let's say, just quickly for sake of example, if I were adding these, you can showcase this in the design, and I'll show you how that works here in a second. But let's finish out this proposal. Let's say it's a timeline. Now let's do a single deadline here for September 25th. We can add our payment terms, half up front, half on delivery. We can include an e-signature, and then we can also paste an invoice payment link. So let's save this and then click Design Proposal. And you see I've already got it laid out here in this preview window. And this is an example of kind of what it would look like. Now I can further customize this. Maybe instead of dark mode, I want it light mode, and then I can change some of the styling. I can change the font type if I want. I can change the title caps to be all caps. Let's go back to maybe dark mode. Maybe we'll do that duo tone again. We can change this to flat. We added some styling and kind of make it a little bit more square on the edges. And then when you're ready to share, you click Save, Share. It'll generate a link, and it will look something like this. So this is exactly what it would look like. And then at the bottom, you're going to see a button that says Accept Proposal or Decline. And your clients can click on that, and it will change the status on your proposal. If you've clicked on an e-signature, once they click Accept Proposal, they will e-sign that, and it will save. They can download as a PDF and save it for their records. And lastly, if you navigate back to the main dashboard, these film tools here are project specific. So for example, if I clicked into scenes, you'll see in the top right corner a drop down where you can select a project. So the project we were working on was the Ridgeline brand. So if I select that, you'll see all the scenes that we were working on right there. So if I go back to the dashboard, it did the same for scripts. You'll see that our scripts for Ridgeline brand and so on from budget. So it's an easy way to access project-specific film tools right from the main dashboard here. So that is Atlas as a whole. I'm sure there's still some other questions that we are going to address later in other videos. But if you'd like to reach out to us, reach out to our support email or on social media, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.